During a visit to an abandoned school in Soweto on Friday, Build One South Africa revealed their education plan of action. The party says that instead of staying at 30%, the pass rate should be increased to 50%. It is also demanding the resignation of Angie Motshekga, the Minister of Basic Education, for what it refers to as dismal basic education standards. We speak to BOSA's Deputy Leader, and that's Nobuntu Webster, to tell us more about their plan. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time this morning. What has your party identified to be the problem again?
Good morning, Dudu. Thank you for having us. And firstly, congratulations to the matrics of 2023 who have passed, and encouragement to those, who haven't, to try again. So on Friday, as you said, we laid out and tabled our plan for education. But, to your question about what is the issue, there is numerous issues in the education system. And even as you have matrics who passed, they have done so overcoming a system that's really stacked against them. The odds are stacked against them. So you'll know that the dropout rate is high, with 4 out of 10 learners who start grade 1 not matriculating in this country. Even as you have this pass rate that you have, only 41% of the matriculants passed with a university entry. So many of them will not be able to enter university. In fact, only 12%. Trends predict that only 12% of them will enroll at university. And then, of course, it's what you're talking about, this 30% mark. A lot of the challenges that we speak of, that we see, even this university admission that I'm talking about, is on the basis of the 30% pass mark that they have to get. And it's 30% and 40% for some subjects. And these are fundamental subjects. So what you find is that you have matriculants that are passing, but they're not set up. The quality of the pass is such that they're not set up for either university entry, but even for the world of work. So really, we're doing our young people a disservice. We're doing the economy a disservice. And when you look at global standards, it means that we really are not competing at the level we should be with that pass mark.
Ma'am, what is the understanding of the content? So as from foundational phase right up until you leave high school, what is the understanding of the content that is being offered to pupils in South Africa? Is it standard?
So in terms of the content that's being offered, a lot of the content is not necessarily relevant. And doesn't give skills readiness for the future workforce. So, that is also something else that really needs a review and needs to be looked at. It's the content, but also it is the skilling of educators in order to be able to deliver it in a way that is relevant for the world of work, that is relevant for a future workforce. So that's something that definitely also needs to be reviewed. But even as you speak of now, as you mentioned, the issue of, what is the content like from the start of school to the end, you also have another challenge, which is through the process you have at the age of 10. You'll remember that last year, Tims and polls indicated that 8 out of every 10 children in South Africa cannot read for meaning by the age of 10. So you also have that being a challenge as well. So not just the content, but also just, the ability and the readiness to be able to engage that content as well is delayed for South African learners.
Mm-hmm. And how do you, intend on actioning your suggestions?
So first of all, we have a number of suggestions as it pertains to our education plan. And the first is that, this country needs a rescue plan. We can't continue with the 30% pass mark. Like I said, it's a disservice to young people in South Africa. It has to be at 50%. That is our plan. Our plan is to incentivize students to study subjects that are needed in the workplace, so that you have a workforce that can contribute well to this economy, and to give choice to parents as to where they take their children to school. In this country, essentially, you have 2 education systems. We call it Build One South Africa because ultimately you find that whether it's the economy, whether it's infrastructure, and it's numerous things, there are 2 systems, and that's the same for the education system. So we're saying that it's important that parents have the ability to choose the school that their children go to, so that if you are born, into poverty, you don't have to be somebody who is stuck in poverty just because you can only go to schools that are not that are not taken care of. You can only go to schools that are not suitable for you as a learner. You have to be able to go to schools that are suitable for you as a learner. And actually, all these schools, they have to be resourced. All these schools, a lot of them have to be improved. The conditions of the schools have to be improved. So that's what we're putting on the table. We're putting on the table to financially reward teachers who are performing, and to say to those who aren't performing, they actually need to be sent and upskilled at training colleges. So that's what we've put on the table as part of our education plan. Really, the improvement of the education system. One, and access, equitable access to education.
I think we have an excess of ideas, more so in light of the year that we are in. When you take a look at the reality, ma'am, maybe for instance if we speak of at local government level and the politics that is playing itself out there, even though there's incredible ideas, political parties are not able to agree on anything. And so you see the impact it has on the lives of ordinary South Africans. And so BOSA has incredible ideas, but you will not be working alone. What ideas are you thinking about as a party of how to make that work as the word coalition swirls about this year when it has not been working at a basic level?
So first of all, a lot of the issues that we see in our government and in implementation is the leaders that we have there. As Build One South Africa, we've made sure that we have ethical and critical leaders that are chosen by people. They're chosen by communities. They represent communities. There are people who are skilled. There are people who have proven leadership. And that's ultimately the first issue that we have, is that we're saying now, like you've said, we're calling for Angie Motshekga to go as minister and that whole leadership, because ultimately the issue lies with leadership. So that's the first thing. But as it pertains to coalitions, it's very important that as we engage, and like you're saying, it's 2024, as we engage in coalition discussions, as we enter into coalitions, it's very important that right from the upfront, right from the start, there is agreement not about positions, but about the work that needs to be done, about the policies that need to be put on the table, and about the process of implementing those policies. That's what has to be at the forefront, and that's what has to be foremost in all the coalitions that are engaged upon. Let's agree on the best ideas for the country. Let's agree on how we will implement those.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time this morning. BOSA Deputy Leader Nobuntu Webster.